Now this is the cherry tree, I think. You have to make sure you know. That's why we are having a fall fifth, because sometimes the leaves can fool you. How many of you know what you see? You're looking at. You think you could remember it? It's a cherry. Now what is heavy about the cherry tree? The bark. All right. Now is the time to gather the bark of the cherry trees, because the cherry tree bark will be able to help us in the 21st century. Let me say before we start, I want to thank all of you students for having good patience to come. Because if you don't know how to survive, you're in bad shape in the coming years. You read from time to time that where law and order will break down. Wonder will you break down? That's what you have to wonder. Don't worry about the police department, because when times get bad, he definitely will take care of himself. Now this tree is ready for harvest. It is very good. You can know the firmness of the tree. It's able to survive the pollution. This is a right size of knife that you should have in your pocket. But there are other knives that you can carry that has a fish hook in it. You can get it for $19 as a fish hook, sewing thread, a compass and everything in the house that you can wear home. But this is a good knife, and this is how you sharpen the knife. You spit on it. Either put a little water. If they ain't got no water, you can spit on it. Rub it. It was dull. But see how it gives the point? So you use whatever you got. I want you to feel it. It wasn't even sharp until I started. See it there? You can feel it now. See how it comes. You sharpen it on the stone. Good stone, sharp and good knife. See, you sing, oh, what a beautiful morning, and you fold it and you get it together. Now you know the knife has to be sharp, because see how it cuts? It has to be cut. There are two things anywhere in the world. You remember this, and it's very important. Never go nowhere without a cap and a knife. The cap can be your pillar in critical times, and the cap can be used to carry your dinner if you have to grab it quick. You don't know, you might have to get some bananas, and you put it, and you haven't got a bag, so your cap is very important. Let me show you something about this cap. You can buy this cap at a second-hand store. You can fold this cap up and put it in your pocket, because within a 50-mile radius, it's either be 100 degrees here, you go on down the road, it could be 20 below zero. Always carry you a sweater or coat. Sometimes it's good to get old army coats or something, because the weather is never the same everywhere. And your cap might keep you from freezing to death at night. And what I like about the wall cap in emergency can be chopped up if you can cut a piece of it off and get the bark of the tree, of the cherry tree, and you're Ewan and you have a mate equal to a police mate. Now, be careful how you use this mate, because when you take your Ewan and the cherry bark and the wool, old piece of wool, once you spray it in these people's eyes, they will go totally blind. There will be no way to restore their eyesight, because It's the chemical reaction kills the entrepreneur. Ain't that something you talk about? How you can protect yourself? You protect yourself up in the law. You can piss on it and slap it good, and it will paralyze. But you got to get the cherry bark. Now the cherry tree is very good for asthma and cough, but it's also very good for biology warfare. Ain't that something? All of you eat cherries, ain't that right? You never know that cherries can be used for other than eating. It can knock you out and be your last roundup. So you mix it and shake it up and put it in a little plastic bag and spray it. Right away, it will get bubbles right up under his eyes. And his eyes will turn red as a bull. And nothing will help him to restore his eyesight.
That's the wool too?
Yeah, the wool. The wool is very high. The wool has a chemical in it that's related to the dye. In plants, especially in the tree and the leaves of any tree and any plant can be used for natural warfare. You take the Vietnamese people, and this is the truth. You don't rely on white folks. You don't rely on colored folks. You rely on yourself. The Vietnamese could not rely on Western people for their medicine. They had to take everything that grows in the jungle, even including the cockroach, including the rat, the tadpole, the bullfrog, the fish bones, and everything, even the dirt dauber's nests, the wasps and the ants and everything. And they made ointment. And do you know that they were able to hook this country? They were able to eat mushrooms and go and live underground and maintain their eyesight, because this country dropped so many bombs on the country and they survived. So I don't want to hear that you cannot survive. You might not survive if you give to the television and give to everything. And this is what has happened in this country. For 50 years, the government has been giving aid to the people and have totally destroyed their sensibility to survive. And it's heavy. You can have all the money in the world, and you read of people dying, and there's a tree right in front of them. People, but they believe that if they don't get a meal at the Burger King, or they don't get a meal at some supermarket, well, you could have a route here right away. We haven't had a route in this country since Dr. King was killed. And if a route would come, they would take all the shoes out and all the groceries, and you would be lost. Now the Indians, take a note of this. The Shoshone, I call them Shoshone, they call them Shoshone, but Shoshone Indians and the Mascaleras, these are the desert Indians. They don't wear no feathers, they wear bands like the brothers wear around their head, or sweatbands. These Indians use cherry bark as the desert cherry. It's a tree, the desert tree, the cherry tree grows in the desert, but it has little small cherries, but it grows. But why they eat the cherries in the desert? They don't eat them until October, but you first have to beat the squirrels and the possums to them. The Indians take the bark, chaparral, morning glory leaves, and rabbit grass, and make an arthritis ointment. That's up. Well, we'll go slow. Cherry bark. You know it's cherry. When every time you find a cherry tree, it will smell like cherry. The bark and the leaf. They take cherry bark, not the leaf, morning glory leaf, chaparral, and rabbit grass. That's the rabbit grass that you will be seeing in a little bit. And they make an ointment out of this. It's used for arthritis. And if you know what you're doing with it and fix it right, it is the best muscle relaxing herb ointment anywhere in the world. Everybody who is a sports athlete want to relax his muscles when he runs. All right? Now let's go over it again. got?
Cherry bark, chaparral, morning glory, sassafras.
All right, you remember that.
Now, chaparral is the leaves of the rhubarb.
The chaparral is the leaf. Now, chaparral is a plant that grows in the desert. There are 21 chaparral plants. Most of them set the forest on the fire. It's a heavy herb. It's a heavy herb. The Soviet Union is doing some research with chaparral and passion flower for unborn babies are in the womb. And when the baby is born, they throw him in water, and that way he don't need glasses. We hope to get you some papers on this soon. All right, we're about ready to move out, you understand. Any questions? Come on up now. Come on up and ask. Lots about cherries you don't know. They're more than eat. Have you ever seen a cherry pit? Yeah. Very good. The Chinese use the flower of chrysanthemum. You know what chrysanthemum is? You know what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I can't pronounce these names. Chrysanthemum, that's what I always call it. They do decoration on the cake, the wedding cake. They take the cherry pit and chrysanthemum, and they use it for a cup. Now, they use it for a cough sickness, a cough. OCCULE, a cough sickness. Now, the Buddhist monks use it in the monastery for long depth of meditation. You see them sitting up there, you been fell out, maybe going on. Well, this is what they do. We also can use it for mending with comfrey, the cherry pit with the comfrey root for broken bones. Listen, there's so much in the field of herbology. It's a lifetime study. Really, when you get a degree, it's just on the wall that you'll move in. But you study the rest of your lifetime because we're coming up with new types of sicknesses every day. And the same herb that sometimes we can add a little more to it, a little more of this, and you got a special tea. Now, some of you students definitely is going to have to specialize in rare herbs for special ailments. That ain't no $2 pack. Yeah, you have to make a note of it, you know. For a cup, now, I'm glad you mentioned this. Chrysanthemum, the flowers of chrysanthemum. I'm gonna ask the Chinese Herbal Society of Peking, the center case of now in the Chinese shop. Nothing is late. No herb is marked on the jar. Now if you went in and you didn't know what you was talking about, they know what you be talking about. And sometimes they ask you, do you have the Chinese name to it? You may let you don't know English. You know English quite well. Now in Chicago, in the Chinese community is very prejudiced to certain folks. I'm prejudiced too. We're all prejudiced. And you go and ask for chrysanthemum, and the Chinese will look like you're some creature from Mars. Listen, this is heavy. I found out that the Chinese eat everything the pig can give. Ain't that right? You see the hog head in the window. I have to get out them when I go to downtown. They said, oh, here comes this hobo, don't eat no pork no more. I said, yeah, don't put that shit on the table. Do something else, they be laughing. She said, that's because we eat more than pork. Now, I asked this old Chinese herbal. He was very good. And I used to spend $8,000 to $10,000 with the man. You know, when you go in $8,000, it ain't got no check and give it, and then he tried to get it all. So I asked him one day, I said, if I'm going to spend $8,000 with you, I used to buy the stuff at the tree farm. I was at the tree. I want you to tell me why you Chinese in the fall of the year always drink chrysanthemum tea. I said, when I asked you about the tea, he said, well, we'll give it to you in a can. They set it in the can. Now, the Chinese don't get high blood pressure. Now, you listen to this. This is a heavy study. That's why you got to know. They mix the chrysanthemum flower and the cherry bark to their pork when they cook. That's $1 billion secret. He told me in laughed. I said, no, I still don't want to eat it. But we know that many of the dog people are not going to give up hope. So we're going to make a season to help them. Well, no, listen, you know that. You have to say, so you know the Chinese have very little no high blood pressure at all. They remain thin. So when you order the 1985 flower books, ask the seed companies to give you a little more write-up about the chrysanthemum. Now, the chrysanthemum flower is used with roaches. What they don't call them roaches in Palestine. I think when I was in the mountains, they called it the beetle. You know, the little black beetle that grows under the cricket, as we call it. And they take this and the wild chrysanthemum flower, which grows 4,000 feet above sea level, and the yellow poppy. And the women are able to perform some kind of ritual so that they don't have children for quite a while. They use it for douches. But the monks use the mountain cherry, the cherry pits with yellow poppy, and they dye a robe of yellow color. Mountain cherry, that's the cherry tree. You have a lowland cherry tree, a plain cherry, then you have a wild cherry, then you have a mountain cherry that grows 4,000 feet above sea level. Make on your notes right now that all the flowers that's in the primrose family are able to survive in any attitude or any mountain position anywhere in the world. Now there'll sometimes be 6,000-7,000 feet in Peru, and you will be able to see the evening primrose there. Now, not only that, we do have a folder, I got to get it tight, of a breakdown. And now they are using evening primrose for mentally ill patients in psychic government institutions. All right? We know that the primrose is heavy, but it can be used for many other things. Some of you should also try to experiment with the cherry leaves and okra leaves for insect repellent. All right? We got to go. Time is important. We would have to go if we was on the 50 million budget. Insect repellent. Make a note of that now. Don't sell your notes and give them away. You keep them. Yeah, okra leaf. You know what okra is. All right, now we're going to move on. Thank you. Did you get it? Insect repellent. Yeah, the mountain cherry tree. Yeah, for dying. About the evening primrose. Primrose grows high above sea level. Yeah. The guy with the yellow color. Yellow rose. All right, we ready? Any questions? All right. Now this tree is known for the winter. You notice that the leaves are leaving and a lot of the bark off, but it's still alive there. Still alive there. Yeah, you can't use these herbs along their road. That's the sweet talk. The people can sit down there and they'll talk to the plants. If they didn't pay the rent, it'll be in the plants. You have to watch for plants dissolve the beautiness up. You understand? Hard to learn all this. Good to get rid of it. Heavy burden. Learning, and I have so much. The more you get in, the more you won't stay in. That's why I could never work with nobody no more. I'm going to quit giving consultation to run through the woods. The more you get into this stuff, the more you got to learn. You're trying to get it all yourself. So, and it's a hard task. It's a very hard task. Hard task.
Yes, that's Friday night.
Come on down by the river. Yeah, now we're on the way. We're on the way now. Let's keep the spirit up your legs. We're going, man, and move. Now, what's these trees here? We moving? What is these trees? Which is it? The one that don't smell. What's this? What's this yellow flower over here? What's this here weed bush here? Bitterweed. Now that's too bad. This is bitterweed. I'm seeing, do you see? We moving. This is bitterweed. Yeah. Now what is that? What is that bush used for?
This is
What is yours? What is the swelling? Swelling. Made and quick emergency. You remember that? Also, you're going to have to have it in ointment. You can just wet it and hold it on your head, and it's very good. All right? How you smell it? All right, that's the smelling one. You run the heaviest one is the one that's smelling. That's the one is heavy too on the tree. There's one on the tree and one that smells. And then there's another sumac that produces the bird. We'll see that. All right, now let's move on.